Hyan Wu sat in the pilot's chair of his cargo ship. The Soul's Pride, he was drinking coffee from a metal cup and looking at the stars through the front window. The ship was old but strong. It had carried him safely through space for 5 years. Today was just another normal day. He was taking food and supplies to the mining station on Kepler-44b. The mining station was far from Earth. It took 3 weeks to get there. Hyan Wu did not mind the long trip. He liked being alone in space. It was quiet and peaceful. He could think about his life and listen to music from Earth. Sometimes he would call his sister Minji back home. She always worried about him traveling so far alone. Another boring cargo run, Hyan Wu said to himself. He looked at his watch. In 2 days he would reach the mining station. The miners there were always happy to see him. He brought them fresh food and news from Earth. They were good people who worked hard in a dangerous place. Far away from Hyan Wu's ship, something terrible was watching him. On a dark ship hidden behind an asteroid, 8 creatures stood around a metal table. They were not like any animal from Earth. Each one was 8 feet tall with black skin that looked like armor. Their hands had long, sharp claws that could cut through steel. Their eyes glowed red in the dark. These were the Veltaracs. The Velt were known across the galaxy as the most dangerous hunters. They had killed creatures from over 300 different worlds. They did not hunt for food. They hunted for fun and to prove they were the strongest. Every alien species in the galaxy feared them. The leader of this hunting group was called Krixvel. He was bigger than the others and had scars all over his armor-like skin. Each scar told the story of a different hunt. On his belt, he carried small objects. These were pieces taken from every creature he had killed. Teeth, claws, and other things that proved his victories. The human ship moved slowly, said Krixvel. His voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. It follows the same path as always. Humans are so easy to predict. Another Veltarax named Victor stepped closer to the table. On the table was a small device showing Hyan Wu's ship as a tiny dot of light. Are you sure about hunting this? 1. Huntmaster. Humans are new to space. They have no reputation as fighters. Where is the honor in killing weak prey? Krixvel's red eyes grew brighter with anger. Weak? You think any creature that reaches the stars is weak? No. Humans have something interesting about them. They help other creatures. They risk their lives to save strangers. This makes them different from other prey. Krixvel touched one of the objects on his belt. It was a small piece of blue crystal. This came from a Zilani warrior. The Zilani were proud fighters. They thought they were brave. But when I hunted their leader, he ran and hid like a scared child. They all do this in the end. The Huntmaster walked around the table. His claws clicked on the metal floor. I have studied this human for many days. His name is Hyan Wu. He pilots alone. He has no weapons on his ship. He stops to help anyone who sends a distress call. This makes him perfect prey. Another hunter named Morduk asked, what makes you think he will be any different from the others? Krixvel smiled, showing teeth like broken glass. Because humans are curious. They do not run from danger like smart creatures should. They move toward it. This human will come to us when we call for help. Then we will see how brave he really is. The Veltaracs had planned this hunt for weeks. They knew everything about Hyan Wu's route. They knew he carried supplies to the mining station. They knew he always helped anyone in trouble. This knowledge would be his death. Prepare the distress beacon, ordered Krixvel. Make it sound like a small research ship, something a human would want to save. Place it in the asteroid field near Marker 7. When he comes to help, we will disable his ship. Victor worked at a control panel. His claws pressed buttons with careful precision. The beacon is ready. Huntmaster, it will sound like 3 scientists are trapped after a crash. Their life support is failing. Perfect bait for a human. Krixvel looked at his hunting pack. 6 of the deadliest creatures in the galaxy stood ready to follow him. They had never failed to bring down their prey. Each one was a perfect killing machine shaped by millions of years of evolution. Remember, Krixvel said, we do not kill the human quickly. I want to study how he fights. I want to see if humans are truly different from other prey. We will wound him first, then we hunt him. Slowly, make him run, make him afraid. Only then will we finish him. The other Veltaracs nodded. This was how they always hunted. Fear was as important as death. They wanted their prey to know they were going to die. This fear made the hunt more enjoyable. On his ship, Hyan Wu had no idea that death was coming. For him, he was reading a book and eating dried fruit from Earth. He thought about his sister Minji and how she was doing in school. He thought about the miners who were waiting for their supplies. He thought about the long trip home after he delivered his cargo. The communication system in his ship made a soft beeping sound. Hyan Wu looked at the control panel. Someone was sending a distress signal. The signal was coming from the asteroid field ahead of him. Hyan Wu put down his book and read the message on his screen. 3 scientists were trapped on a damaged research ship. Their life support would fail in 6 hours. They needed immediate rescue. Poor people, Hyan Wu said out loud. He did not think twice about changing course. Helping others was what humans did. It was who they were. His sister, Minji, always said that helping others was the most important thing in life. Hyan Wu typed a message back to the scientists. This is Hyan Wu on the cargo ship Soul's Pride. I am coming to help you. Hold on. I will be there in 2 hours. He turned his ship toward the asteroid field. The large rocks floating in space would make navigation difficult, but Hyenwu was a good pilot. He had flown through asteroid fields before. He was not afraid. Behind him, hidden in the shadows, the Velterac ship began to move. The hunt was beginning. Crixville watched Hyenwu's ship on his tracking screen. The human was coming directly toward their trap, just as predicted. Excellent, the huntmaster said. Ready, the electromagnetic pulse. As soon as he enters the asteroid field, we disable his ship. Then the real fun begins. The most dangerous predators in the galaxy were about to learn something new about humans, but they would not like the lesson. Hyenwu's ship shook as the electromagnetic pulse hit it. All the lights went out. The engine stopped working. The communication system went silent. His ship was falling toward the rocky surface of a small moon. This is bad, Hyenwu said, as he tried to control his ship, but nothing worked. The controls were dead. He could only hold on as the Soul's Pride crashed into the ground. When the ship stopped moving, Hyenwu was still alive. His head hurt and his arm was bleeding, but he could walk. He looked around his ship. Many things were broken, but some equipment still worked. The emergency power was on. Hyenwu went to the window and looked outside. He was on a small moon with gray rocks everywhere. There were no plants or water. The air was thin, but he could breathe it. Strange shadows moved between the rocks far away. Someone attacked my ship, Hyenwu said to himself. The distress call was a trap. He was not afraid. He was angry. Someone had tricked him and crashed his ship. Now 3 scientists might really be in danger somewhere, and he could not help them. Hyenwu started working quickly. He took supplies from his ship, food, water, tools, and anything else that might be useful. He also took some of the ship's metal parts. In his mind, he was already making plans. On their hunting ship, Crixville and his 6 hunters were getting ready. They put on their hunting gear and checked their weapons. Each weapon could kill a creature from far away or up close. They had hunted for many years and never lost a single hunter. The human's ship is down, reported Victor. The crash was perfect. His ship is damaged, but he is alive inside. Crixville smiled his terrible smile. Good, now we board his ship and begin the hunt. Remember, do not kill him quickly. I want to see how a human acts when he knows death is coming. The Velterac ship landed near the crashed Soul's Pride. The 6 hunters got out and walked toward Hyenwu's ship. Their red eyes glowed in the dim light. Their claws clicked on the rocky ground. They moved like shadows, making no sound. When they reached the ship, Crixville used his claws to tear open the metal door. The hunters rushed inside, ready to catch their prey. But the ship was empty. Where is he? Asked Mordok. Crixville looked around the empty ship. Everything was quiet. Then he saw something on the pilot's chair. It was a piece of paper with words, written in the common galactic language. Thanks for the new home, Deho, said Victor. Who is Deho? The human's name is Hyenwu. Crixville's eyes grew brighter with anger. No prey had ever left their ship before a hunt. All other creatures stayed inside and tried to hide. This was different. This was wrong. Search the ship, ordered Crixville. Find where he went. The hunters looked through every part of the ship. They found that the human had taken many things. Food, tools, metal parts, and other supplies were gone. It looked like he was planning to stay on the moon for a long time. Huntmaster called another hunter named Zikmer. Look at this. Zikmer was standing near a hole in the ship's floor. The human had cut through the metal and escaped through the bottom. His tracks led away from the ship toward the rocky hills. Clever, said Crix, but it will not save him. We follow his trail. He cannot hide from us for long. The Velteracs left the ship and began tracking Hyenwu across the moon's surface. The ground was covered with dust and rocks. It was easy to see where the human had walked. His footprints led toward a group of hills with many caves as they followed. The trail, Crixville felt excited. This hunt was already more interesting than most. The human was not acting like normal prey. He was not running in panic. He seemed to have a plan. After walking for an hour, the hunters found something strange. There was a pile of rocks blocking their path. It looked natural, but Crixville knew it was not. Someone had put the rocks there on purpose. He is trying to slow us down, said Victor. Let him play his games, said Crixville. We will still catch him. The hunters climbed over the rocks and kept following the trail. But more strange things started happening. Wires were stretched between rocks at ankle height. Holes were covered with thin material and dust. Small metal objects were hidden in the path. These are traps, said Mordok. Simple traps, but traps. One of the hunters, Jekvel, stepped on a hidden pressure plate. A sharp piece of metal flew out of the rocks and cut his leg. The wound was not deep, but it hurt and made him bleed. Primitive, said Crixville, but effective. This human is smarter than he looks. They kept following the trail, but now they moved more carefully. The human had turned the moon into a dangerous place. Every step might be a trap. Every shadow might hide a weapon. That's the sunset. The hunters made camp near a large rock. They were tired and some were hurt from the traps. This was not how their hunts usually went. Normally they would have caught their prey by now. Where is he? Asked Victor. We have been following his trail all day, but we never see him. Crixville looked at the dark hills around them. Somewhere out there the human was waiting, but for what was his plan? Then they found another note. This one was stuck to their camp supplies with a sharp piece of metal. You are not hunting me. I am hunting you, Deho. The words made the hunters look around nervously. They were the predators. They did the hunting. No prey had ever hunted them before. It was impossible. But as they sat in the dark, they began to hear sounds, footsteps on rocks, metal clicking against stone, whispers in the wind. The human was out there moving around them in the darkness for the first time in their lives. The Velterax felt something they had never felt before. They felt like prey. Crixville gripped his weapon tighter. This hunt was not going as planned. The human was not running away. He was not hiding. He was fighting back in ways that the Velterax had never seen before. Tomorrow we end this, Crixville said to his hunters. No more games, no more traps. We find him and we kill him. But deep down Crixville was starting to worry. In over 300 hunts, he had never seen prey act like this. The human was doing something wrong, something that made no sense. He was acting like a predator in the darkness. Hyenwu watched the alien hunters from his hiding place. He had been studying them all day. He knew how they moved, how they thought, and how they hunted. Now he was ready to show them what humans could do. The real hunt was just beginning. 3 days had passed since the hunt began. Crixville sat on a rock and counted his remaining hunters. Only 4 were left alive. 2 of his best warriors were dead, and he had not even seen the human who killed them. The first death happened on the second day. Jekyll had gone to get water from a small stream. When the others found him, his throat was cut with a sharp piece of metal from the crashed ship. There were no signs of a fight. The human had killed him quietly and quickly. Second death was worse. Zeekmer had been on guard duty during the night. In the morning they found him dead from electric shock. The human had somehow used power from the ship's batteries to make a trap. Zeekmer's body was burned and his weapons were gone. This is impossible, said Victor. His voice shook with fear. We are the hunters. We do not get hunted. Crixville looked at his remaining warriors. They were scared. For the first time in their lives, the Velterax were afraid. The human was killing them one by one, and they could not stop him. He is just one small creature, said Crixville. We are 4 trained killers. We will find him and end this. But even Crixville was starting to doubt. This hunt was different from all the others. The human was not running away. He was not trying to escape. Instead, he was hunting them. Mordok pointed to their equipment pile. Huntmaster, look at our supplies. Crixville walked over to their gear. Someone had been there during the night. Their food was still there, but it smelled wrong. The human had done something to it. If they ate it, they would get sick. He poisoned our food, said the 4th hunter Velgren. How did he know about our biology? How did he know what would make us sick? Crixville picked up his communication device. It was making strange noises. Instead of normal sounds, it was playing something the human called music. The sounds were loud and annoying. They hurt the Velterax ears. He hacked our equipment, said Crixville. Somehow, this primitive creature learned how to use our technology. The music stopped, and a voice came from the device. It was the human, speaking in perfect Velterax language. Hello, hunters, said the voice. My name is Deho. I have been learning about your people. You have very interesting hunting methods. Thank you for teaching me. Victor grabbed the communication device. How do you know our language? How did you access our private channels? The human laughed. I am a fast learner. I studied your equipment. While you were sleeping, your language is not very difficult. Your hunting records are very detailed. You keep good notes about all the creatures you have killed. Crixville felt cold fear in his chest. What do you want, human? I want to understand, said Deho. I read your files about the other species you hunted. The Zilani, the Morphics, the Centauri. They all ran from you. They all tried to hide. They all died afraid and alone. The voice paused. Then it continued. But I am not like them. I am human. We do things differently. You will die like all the others, said Crixville. Maybe, said Deho. But first let me tell you something about humans. We were not the strongest creatures on our planet. We were not the fastest. We were not the biggest. But we became the most dangerous. Do you know why? The hunters looked at each other. They did not understand what the human was trying to say. That became dangerous because we never stopped learning, said Deho. When something tried to kill us, we studied it. We learned how it hunted. Then we became better hunters than it was. The communication device went quiet. The hunters sat in silence, listening to the wind blow across the rocky ground. He is trying to scare us, said Velgren. It is just talk. But Crixville was not sure. The human had already killed 2 of his hunters. He had poisoned their food and hacked their equipment. He was doing things that no prey had ever done before. That night, the 4 remaining hunters took turns staying awake. They did not want to be caught sleeping again. But the human was patient. He waited until they were tired and scared. During Mordok's watch, sounds came from all around their camp. Footsteps on rocks, metal scraping against stone, whispers in the darkness. Mordok spun around, trying to see where the sounds were coming from. He is out there, Mordok called to the others. I can hear him moving. The other hunters woke up and grabbed their weapons. They stood back to back, looking into the darkness. but they could not see anything. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Then the sound stopped. Everything was quiet. "Where did he go?" whispered Victor. "I do not know," said Crixfell, "but he is still watching us. I can feel it." In the morning they found another note. This one was written on a piece of their own equipment. "You are very good hunters, but you have one big problem. You only know how to hunt prey that runs away. I am not running." Deho below the note was something that made the Velterax feel true fear for the first time. It was a detailed drawing of their camp from above. The human had been watching them all night. He could have killed any of them at any time. "He was right above us," said Velkrin. "How did we not see him?" Crix studied the drawing. It was very accurate. The human had marked where each hunter was sleeping. He had drawn their weapons and equipment. He knew everything about their camp. "We leave this place," said Crixfell. "We find better ground for defense." But as they packed their gear, they realized something terrible. Several of their weapons were missing. The human had taken them during the night while they were all awake and watching. "This is impossible," said Mordok. "We were all on guard. How did he steal our weapons?" Crixfell looked at his hunters. They were the most feared predators in the galaxy, but now they looked like scared children. The human was breaking them down piece by piece. As they walked across the rocky ground, Victor stepped on something that clicked under his foot. He looked down and saw a small device made from ship parts and Velterax equipment. "Bomb," he shouted. Explosion threw Victor against a large rock. When the smoke cleared, he was not moving. 3 hunters were left. Crixfell knelt beside his dead warrior. Victor had been with him for 20 years. They had hunted together across the galaxy. Now he was dead, killed by a human using Velterax weapons. "How?" whispered Mordok. "How does he know so much about our equipment?" Crixfell stood up slowly. His red eyes burned with anger, but also with something else. Respect. The human was proving to be the most dangerous prey they had ever faced. "Because he is learning," said Crixfell. "Every day he learns more about us. He studies our weapons, our tactics, our weaknesses. He is turning our own methods against us." The Huntmaster looked at the 2 remaining hunters. "We are no longer the predators in this hunt. We are the prey." Somewhere in the rocks above them, Deho watched the 3 remaining aliens. He had been studying them for days. He knew how they moved, how they thought, and how they hunted. Now, he was ready for the final phase of his plan. The humans had learned long ago that the best way to defeat a predator was to become a better predator. And Deho was about to show these aliens what that meant. 6 days had passed since the hunt began. Crixfell and Mordok were the only hunters left alive. They had found a deep cave and blocked the entrance with rocks. They were no longer hunting. They were hiding. The cave was dark and cold. Water dripped from the ceiling. The 2 Velterax sat against the back wall, holding their weapons. They had not slept in 2 days. Every sound made them jump. Every shadow looked like the human coming to kill them. "This is madness," said Mordok. His voice was quiet and shaky. "We are the greatest hunters in the galaxy. How can one human defeat us?" Crixfell did not answer. He was thinking about the past 6 days. 4 of his best warriors were dead. Jekvel with his throat cut, Zekma electrocuted, Victor poisoned and sick before a trap broke his neck, Velkrin killed by his own weapon, turned into a bomb. Each death was different. Each death showed that the human was learning new ways to kill. He was not using the same method twice. He was experimenting. He was having fun. "Huntmaster," said Mordek, "we should call for help. Our ship can send a message to the homeworld. Other hunters can come and kill this human." Crixfell's red eyes glowed in the darkness. "No, if we call for help, we admit that we failed. We admit that a single human defeated the greatest hunting pack in Velterax history. I will not bring that shame to our people." Mordok was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "What if we are already defeated? What if this human is just playing with us now?" Before Crixfell could answer, a sound came from their communication device. It was the human's voice, speaking perfect "Hello, Crixfell. Hello, Mordek. I hope you are comfortable in your cave." Both hunters grabbed their weapons and looked around. How did the human know they were in a cave? How did he know their names? "I have been watching you for hours," said Deho. "You look tired. You look scared. This is new for you, is it not? Being the prey instead of the predator. Show yourself." "Human," shouted Crixfell. "Fight us with honor." Deho laughed. "Honor? You talk about honor. I read your hunting records, Crixfell. You have killed over 100 sentient beings. You tortured them before you killed them. You made them suffer for your entertainment. Where was the honor in that?" The communication device crackled with static. Then Deho's voice came back, but now he sounded different, colder, more dangerous. "Let me tell you something about humans. Crixfell, we have a saying on Earth, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But we also have another saying, an eye for an eye. You have shown me how Velterax hunt. Now I will show you how humans hunt." "What do you want?" asked Crixfell. "I want you to understand," said Deho. "I want you to feel what all your victims felt. Fear, helplessness, the knowledge that death is coming and there is nothing you can do to stop it." The voice paused, then it continued. "But first, let me educate you about my species. You made a mistake when you chose to hunt a human. You see, we were not apex predators on our planet. We were something much more dangerous." "What?" could be more dangerous than an apex predator?" asked Mordok. "A persistence predator," said Deho. "Do you know what that means?" "It means we did not need to be the strongest or the fastest. We just needed to be smarter and never give up. We hunted woolly mammoths with pointed sticks. We turned wolves into pets. We made the entire planet our hunting ground." Crixville felt a chill run down his spine. He was beginning to understand what made humans different from other prey. "Every creature you hunted before ran from you because you were apex predators on their worlds," said Deho. "But humans became apex predators by hunting other apex predators. We learned to kill everything that tried to kill us. Bears, lions, sharks, we killed them all and took their place at the top of the food chain." The communication went silent. Crixville and Mordok waited in the darkness, listening to their own breathing and the drip of water in the cave. Then they heard a new sound. Scratching. Something was scraping against the rocks they had piled at the cave entrance. Something was trying to get in. "He found us," whispered Mordok. The scratching continued for several minutes. Then it stopped. Everything was quiet again. "Maybe he gave up," said Mordok hopefully. Then a small object rolled into the cave. It was round and metallic. Smoke was coming from it. "Gas!" shouted Crixville. Both hunters ran deeper into the cave, away from the smoking object. But the cave was not very deep. Soon they reached the back wall. There was nowhere else to go. The smoke filled the cave. It was not poisonous, but it made their eyes water and their lungs burn. They could not see anything. They could barely breathe. Through the smoke, they heard footsteps. Someone was walking into the cave. The human had come for them. "I know you are back there," said Deho. His voice was very close now. "I can hear you breathing. I can smell your fear." Crixville fired his weapon into the smoke. The energy beam lit up the cave for a moment, but it hit nothing. The human was not where he expected. "You missed," said Deho. His voice came from a different direction now. "My turn." Something hard hit Mordok in the head. He fell to the ground and did not get up. Crixville was alone. Mordok called Crixville, but there was no answer. "He is not dead," said Deho, "just unconscious. I want him to watch what happens next." The smoke began to clear. Crixville could see a shape moving in the gray air. It was the human, but he looked different now. He was wearing pieces of Velterax armor taken from the dead hunters. He carried weapons made from ship parts and alien technology. "He looked surprised," said Deho. "Did you think I would fight you with my bare hands? I am not stupid, Crix. I use every advantage I can find. Your armor, your weapons, your own tactics. I have become a better Velterax than you are." Crixville raised his weapon, but Deho was faster. Something struck the Huntmaster's arm and his weapon flew away. Deho stepped out of the smoke, and Crixville could see him clearly for the first time. The human was smaller than a Velterax, but he moved with deadly confidence. His eyes were cold and calculating. This was not the same frightened prey that had crashed 6 days ago. This was something new, something dangerous. "Impossible," whispered Crixville. "You are just a cargo pilot. You are not a warrior." Deho smiled. "You are right. I was just a cargo pilot, but you taught me to be something else. You taught me to be a hunter. Thank you for the lessons." Crixville looked at this human who had killed 4 of his warriors and captured the other. 6 days ago, Deho had been weak prey. Now he stood like a predator who owned this world. "What are you going to do to us?" asked Crixville. Deho picked up Crixville's weapon and examined it. "I am going to show the galaxy what happens when you try to hunt a human. But first, I want you to send a message to your people." The human handed Crixville a communication device. "Tell them that their greatest huntmaster is defeated. Tell them that humans are not prey. Tell them that if they want to hunt us, they can find us on Earth. But warn them that they will be hunting on our world now, and we have had millions of years of practice." Crixville stared at the device in his hands. Everything he believed about hunting and predators was wrong. The Velterax were not the apex predators of the galaxy. They had just met something much more dangerous, humans. The final confrontation took place in the cargo bay of the Soul's Pride. Deho had spent the last day preparing the space for what was to come. He had moved all the cargo containers to create an open area in the center. He had set up lights around the walls. He had turned his crashed ship into an arena. Crixville entered the cargo bay slowly. His hands were tied behind his back, but Deho had removed the restraints before bringing him here. The Huntmaster looked around at what the human had created. "You want to fight me fairly?" asked Crixville. "Hand-to-hand combat." Deho stood in the center of the cargo bay. He wore no armor now. He carried only simple weapons made from ship parts. A metal bar sharpened to a point, a piece of hull plating shaped into a knife. Tools that any human could make with basic materials. "Not fairly," said Deho. "You are stronger than me. You are faster than me. You have natural armor and claws. If this were a fair fight, you would win easily." Crixville flexed his claws. Even without his weapons, he was still a deadly predator. His people had evolved to be perfect killers. "Then why do you think you can defeat me?" Deho smiled. "Because I have something you do not have. I have 6 days of studying everything about you. I know how you move. I know how you attack. I know how you think. You are a perfect killing machine, Crixville. But I am something better. I am an adaptive killing machine." The human began to circle around the Velterax. "Do you want to know what makes humans truly dangerous. We do not just fight our enemies, we become our enemies. We study them until we understand them better than they understand themselves. Crixville turned to keep facing the human. You talk too much. You are right, said Deho. Let me show you instead. The Huntmaster lunged forward with incredible speed. His claws swept through the air where Deho had been standing, but the human was not there anymore. He had moved at exactly the right moment, as if he knew the attack was coming. Crixville spun around and attacked again. This time his claws caught the human's shirt and tore it, but they did not touch skin. Deho had twisted away at the last second. You are fast, said Deho, but you always attack the same way. High, then low, then high again. Very predictable. The Huntmaster snarled and charged again. But this time Deho did not run away. He stepped forward to meet the attack. As Crixville's claws came down, the human grabbed the alien's wrist and used his own momentum against him. Crixville crashed into a cargo container. He was not hurt, but he was surprised. No prey had ever done that before. Impossible, said Crixville. You are too small to throw me. I did not throw you, said Deho. You threw yourself. I just helped you along. That is another thing humans learned. We do not always fight strength with strength. Sometimes we use our enemy's strength against them. The Huntmaster got to his feet and attacked again, but now he was angry and careless. His attacks were wild and uncontrolled. Deho dodged each one easily. You are making mistakes now, said Deho. Anger makes you sloppy. I have been watching you for 6 days. Remember, I know that you get angry when things do not go as planned. Angry redditors make mistakes. Crixville tried to calm himself. The human was right. He was letting emotion control his actions. That was the behavior of prey, not predators. But it was too late. Deho had already learned everything he needed to know. The next time Crixville attacked, the human was ready. That's the Huntmaster's claws came down. Deho stepped inside the attack. He drove his sharpened metal bar up and into a gap in Crixville's natural armor. The weapon went deep into the alien's chest. Crixville staggered backward. Green blood flowed from the wound. He looked down at the metal bar sticking out of his body. He could not believe it. A human had hurt him. A human had found the one weak spot in his armor that even he did not know existed. How, whispered Crixville. I studied the bodies of your dead hunters, said Deho. I learned about Veltarak's anatomy. I found the gaps in your armor. I found the places where you were vulnerable. Knowledge is the greatest weapon, and I used your own people to learn how to kill you. The Huntmaster tried to pull the metal bar from his chest, but it was stuck deep. His strength was leaving him. His legs felt weak. You cannot do this, said Crixville. We are the apex predators of the galaxy. We have hunted for thousands of years. We have killed creatures from hundreds of worlds. Deho picked up his metal knife. And now you have learned what it feels like to be hunted. How does it feel, Crixville? How does it feel to know that you are going to die? The Huntmaster fell to his knees. His red eyes were growing dim. I am human, said Deho. We are the species that hunted everything else on our planet into submission. We are the species that turned wolves into dogs and horses into transportation. We are the species that looked at the sky and decided to conquer it. Deho knelt down beside the dying alien. You made one mistake, Crixville. You thought that being an apex predator made you safe. But humans did not become apex predators by being the strongest or fastest. We became apex predators by being the smartest. We learned to kill everything that tried to kill us. Crixville's breathing was getting weaker. The galaxy ... will know what you are ... double quotes good, said Deho. Let them know. Let every species in the galaxy know that humans are not prey. We are the predators now. The Huntmaster's eyes closed for the last time. The greatest hunter in Veltarak's history was dead, killed by a human cargo pilot using primitive weapons and superior tactics. Deho stood up and walked to the ship's communication system. It was damaged but still worked. He activated the emergency beacon and sent a message to the mining station. This is Deho of the cargo ship Soul's Pride. My ship was attacked by alien hunters. I am alive and need rescue. Please send help. Then he accessed the Veltarak's ship's communication system. It was more advanced than anything humans had. He could send messages across the galaxy instantly. Deho recorded a message in the Veltarak's language. This is Deho of the human species. Huntmaster Crixville and his pack are dead. They came to hunt a human. They learned that humans hunt back. He paused, then continued. Any Veltaraks who want to test themselves against the galaxy's true apex predators can find us on Earth. But I should warn you, you will be hunting on our world now, and we have had millions of years of practice. Deho sent the message to the Veltarak's homeworld. Then he began working on repairing his ship. He used parts from the alien vessel to fix his engines and navigation systems. The work would take several days, but he had time. As he worked, he thought about what had happened. 6 days ago, he had been just a cargo pilot delivering supplies. Now he was something else. He was a hunter who had defeated the galaxy's most dangerous predators. But more than that, he was a teacher. He had taught the galaxy a lesson about humans. They were not weak prey to be hunted for sport. There was something much more dangerous. 3 weeks later, Deho's ship entered Earth's solar system. He had spent the journey thinking about his experience on the moon. He had learned something important about his own species. Humans were not just survivors. They were not just tool users, they were adaptation machines. When something tried to kill them, they did not just fight back. They studied it, learned from it, and became better at killing it than it was. The Soul's Pride landed at the spaceport, where Daeho's journey had begun. His sister Minji was waiting for him. She ran to hug him as he stepped off his ship. "I was so worried," she said. "The mining station said you never arrived. They thought you were lost." Daeho hugged his sister tight. "I was not.